Broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning, everybody. Great to have you on this morning. Just give me a hands up to see if you can hear me. Thank you, Rupert Turton. Good morning, Rupert. Can you see Jamie on the screen as well? Thank you, Lawrence. Good. Excellent. Oh, and Natalie. Natalie's giving us a wave. Thank you, Natalie. Great to see you. Jamie, great to have you on this morning.
Thanks for inviting me. Pleasure.
Yeah, it's really good to see you again, and I'm really looking forward to this. This has been requested by our Monday morning webinar audience, so I am looking forward to seeing what you have to add. Over to you, Jamie.
Thank you, Rachel. Thank you. So, morning everyone. Hope everyone had a good weekend. Just put in the question box exactly what you'd like to get from today. I've got lots of slides prepared, but I just want to make sure that whoever's on gets what they come for. And there might be some areas that I need to spend more time on, and there might be something on the slides that you want to cover. That's okay. Just type in what you'd like to get from today, please, in the question box.
Right. So in the question box, porridge spoons down. In the question box, what is it you would like to hear today from Jamie? Lots of people are coming in, so it's a good one to start with. So we've got all your best tips from Andrew de Groot.
Yes, anything specific, any specific area. If I did that, it'd be probably about 3 days.
So we need some specificity, Mr. de Groot.
Yeah, I think he gets that every Monday.
For those who are just coming in, what we're looking for in the question box is what you would like to get out of today's webinar. Just pop it into the question box. Finding your fee, business to business, service-based business. Quick wins for retail clients.
Was that business to business service?
Yeah, B2B, service-based business. Quick wins for retail clients.
Who is that?
Quick wins is Natalie Jackson.
Okay, so the finding fee specific B2B service, I'd like to know who that is because I might get them to.
Oh, that's Angela Turton.
Okay, fine. I might get her to come on because just be really specific on that one.
Okay.
I've got an example, but that's such a wide B2B service is quite wide. So okay. So
what are the direct links between learning and business growth? That's Rupert Turton. KPIs. Yeah, learning and business growth.
Learning and business growth.
KPIs for the production side of a furniture business, please. That's very specific.
Yeah, that's good. Okay.
And Angela's responded mainly accountancy services.
Accountancy. Okay. Excellent. Okay, so let's go through the questions then. Do you want to? For some reason, I'm trying to think. What chat? Not really got them there. So Rachel, go through the questions. So just start with the first one, and I'll go through them in turn. If that's okay.
Right. So finding your fee, business to business, service-based business, that's accountancy.
Okay, so what I found with finding your fee, it's all about positioning. So some people, this is my view, and again, everyone's got a different take, and I'm not necessarily more right than anyone else, but this is my view. I've always found it's all about positioning, and one of the first things I do with a client is a 3-year plan, so I know exactly what's happening when. So if something's not going to be an instant profit growth in 1 month, they know why. Because the way I generally look for long-term results, like tripling a business in 3 years, but in the first 6 months, it might be that nothing has happened. Now, there'll be some clients you can't do that with because they're struggling with cash. And so the way I've seen the quickest wins is generally get the numbers. So look at the monthly P&L. And if there isn't one, get access to their Xero or QuickBooks, etc. if they have that. And you should at least see that they have turnover in there and they have costs, which may or may not be in the wrong category. But from looking at that, you can normally find a quick win. It's normally they're overspending somewhere. The other quick win I find is when you look at the staff, working out who's performing, who's not performing, and the way you do that is introduce the Lion process. I'm not sure who on here knows about the Lion process, but it's one-to-one meetings between an employee and the boss, where the employee is actually doing most of the talking, setting the goals, and the boss is there as like a facilitator and some person that asks questions, and the minutes are recorded and they're looked at. So what I find is once that's done by a few weeks, you very quickly find out who's performing, who's not performing. And what I found, one of the biggest ways of business growth, if you get the team performing well, everything else just works. And what the Lion process will also do is to find the people that shouldn't be there as well. And what we find, they just generally leave on their own, because the minute you give them accountability, visibility, and targets to specific targets, they'll realise that they're being found out, and they'll just start leaving. So does that help, or so Angela asked for B2B accounting. Does that help, or is there an area that you want more clarity on? Like it could be sales and marketing.
Should we see if we can unmute Angela and get her on?
Please do.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
Angela, just see if you can unmute yourself. I've unmuted you this end. Morning, Angela.
Morning.
Morning, Jamie.
How are you? Good.
Yeah, I'm very good. I'm very good. Yeah. So working with a couple of accountancy firms, and most of them have lots and lots of numbers, as you would expect. So it's sort of like tying them down to a number that works for them. But this bit about the staff, that's really key. So that's something I shall be talking to them with when I see them.
Sure.
Getting them to actually look at, because most of their profit is hiding in work in progress. So it's getting them to really focus down on where the work in progress and the write-offs are. That will help them.
Do you want me to add a few other points, Angela? Or did you get what you wanted from what I said?
No, I think that's given you something to go for.
Okay.
And the way to, because we do talk a lot about work in progress and write-offs. So actually, this is a way to actually get the Lion process, one-to-one Lion process.
Yeah.
They do Lion meetings as a whole, but not one-to-one. So the one-to-one ones will really help.
Yeah. And just for everyone else on the call, in terms of what we mean by write-offs, in case anyone doesn't know, is that every employee in an accountancy firm needs to fill in a timesheet and allocate the number of hours they're spending to each client and which particular task. That's compared to a time budget that you set before the work is done. And what you do is you look at the time budget of the client and that job versus what actually happened, and then work out if it was over, is it over because the staff was being inefficient, or did we undercharge? In addition, you sit down with everyone who had say more than 3 hours non-chargeable time to understand what happened. Is it that they were doing something that wasn't chargeable, or is it they were being efficient, or is it they were undercharging because they wanted to meet the target even though they couldn't, either because their own ability or the company was underquoting? I worked in an accountancy firm for 4 years in the 90s, and they were really, really good at that in this business. And it really forced you to be better at what you did, because the targets were quite tight, and you had to really work hard and be efficient to meet them. Any other?
Yeah, I think they're.
Sorry, Angela.
So I was just going to say, I don't think they're doing that very, very robustly. I think they're looking at it as an overall figure and saying, yeah, that's okay, but not actually drilling down. So that's something I will be
Excellent.
Trying to get them to do. Thanks very much.
Pleasure.
We've got a couple of more things come into the question box.
Yeah, absolutely.
Rob Pickering just wants to add to that. I would add that values are key to Angela's situation. Establish values and rules of the game and refer to them at least weekly. When staff live by the values, you don't need to micromanage.
Yeah, brilliant point, Rob. Totally agree.
Yeah, thank you.
Any other
question? Yeah, a question on the one-to-one Lion sessions. How often do you hold the one-to-one Lion sessions?
Okay, so it's either weekly or fortnightly. The important is you always stick to it, and the only reason it doesn't happen is that the entire week one person is either on holiday or sick. The consistency of it happening is if you lose 1 week, you'll lose 2 months momentum.
Mm. Yeah. Another question, Jamie, would you recommend that positional contracts are in place prior to the one-to-one Lion meetings?
Yeah, so it's good that every employee has a contract. It's
Yeah.
also good that you have an org chart where everyone has one boss. I spent 6 months getting that right with one client because it was really difficult for them to allocate one boss to each person. So those are the prerequisites. Everyone knows what they're doing, and everyone has one boss. Next question, Rachel, please.
Okay, so the next question, let's go for Tim Brown's KPIs for the production side of a furniture business.
Production, okay. So so are they manufacturing or are they?
Should we unmute Tim? Should we unmute
Yeah.
Tim? If he's not on a dog walk or something, let's go to Tim. Let's see, just finding you right down here. Tim, just coming to unmute you. See if you can unmute yourself. Oh, just try again. Tim, are you there? I've lost you. Right, I'm going to unmute. Let's see. There we go. Good morning, Tim.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine. Thank you.
Morning, Tim.
Happy days. Morning, Jamie. No, not walking the dog, just finished chewing. They design stuff which is then manufactured for them by parties that they don't own, but they're in partnership with. So at the minute, they've got 2 furniture manufacturers in Portugal that do their stuff.
Okay. So they design and okay. So going through the whole thing. Sorry.
So they're design, retail, and supply.
Okay. And which KPIs are you looking for? Is it which are sales, marketing, production, all of them?
We're gradually putting them in. The one that the owner has found the hardest is production.
Okay.
Beyond the obvious of gross margins.
Okay, so production, but you said it's done externally, but do they still manage that process?
So yes,
right.
Yeah, there's a head of production, but obviously you're talking about a business that is owned and operated by somebody else.
Yeah. Okay. So
it depends on management.
Okay, so what I've seen work with production and manufacturing is that I'm assuming so when there's a job that comes in of something they're going to build, they have like a budget of how long things take and also the cost of materials used. And then what they
Exactly.
do, sorry?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, and then what they do is you compare the actual to the budget. So the way you do that is that each staff member in production has a timesheet, similar to what we talked about the accountancy, where they allocate the jobs that they've spent time on throughout their week, and you look at 2 things. Number one, how many hours of unchargeable time is there, and understand why there's unchargeable time. Number 2, when everyone that's done everything on production, you add up, person 1 on job 1 and person 2 on job 1 and person 3 on job 1. You add up all of the hours on job 1, all materials, compare that to what you budgeted it for, and then compare the differences by interviewing the team to see whether you got the budget wrong or there's inefficiency. And the other thing you can do as well, if you have like a team meeting with everyone involved, you can brainstorm ways of making more efficient. Because what you'll find is person 1 might be do it better than person 2, and if person 1 learns what person 2 does, they can then be better at their job, bringing costs down. In addition to that, you might find that actually you are quite efficient, but you're actually underquoting. So then it's training the people that that are doing the pricing to price higher and have a way and justify why the prices are higher. That's what I've seen work really well. And generally, when you do that, I've seen 6 months coaching, just doing all of that and making people accountable to come up with the reasons and making the changes in their budgets and their pricing. Does that help, Tim, or is there anything more you need clearer?
No, that's really good. That's really good. I'm scribbling and thinking. That's brilliant. Thanks, Jamie.
It's recorded, so you might want to play it back if I've just given you a load of things in like 2 minutes. But so yeah.
Great. Thank you, Tim.
What's the next question, Rachel? Rachel?
Yes, sorry, my internet's a bit unstable.
No problem.
Did you ask for another question?
Yeah, yes, because there's a few that you mentioned earlier on I've not heard.
Yeah, that's right. We had from Rupert Turton, what are the direct links between learning and business growth?
Okay. So, okay, the better the business owner is, the more he grows.
Yeah.
So especially, so for instance, you know, a client will come to you where they're doing good at certain things and they're doing not great at certain things. If they learn the thing that they're not good at, then that's interfering with their growth, then that's going to help. Do you want to maybe get Rupert to just to come on for a bit?
Yeah, let's
more detail on that question.
Rupert, you're self-muted. Just good morning, Rupert.
Good morning, Rachel. Good morning, Jamie. How are you?
Morning, Rupert. Good.
All
to hear
good.
from you.
And you, yeah. So what I was trying to get to, because I fully get the more you learn, the more you earn, because it's all about knowledge.
Yeah.
But it's very difficult, as I think you've just alluded to demonstrate that when you're talking to a client, and particularly when they first start and they're not used to education.
Yeah.
Actually making the link for them is actually quite a challenge, and it's anything you can shed on actually making that connection as well.
Have you got an example?
Yeah, actually we could. Yes, I won't name any names, but we'll call him Dallin to avoid confusion.
Okay.
But he's historically his attention is minimal at the best of times. I did actually manage to get him to listen to the E-Myth on audio, but he's got an app on his phone that basically summarizes books for him as well, so he doesn't even have to read the whole book. But the point being, of course, he's missing a lot of the meat. He knows what it's about at a high level, but doesn't necessarily know the detail that the book is getting into underneath it.
Okay. All right. So listen, can I just show what I've done with people like this? So
yeah, go ahead.
It is a real judgment call, and you know sometimes you have to accept that you might need a couple of goes to get it right yourself. So what I've done, it's all about the specific thing they need at the time and making it a very small chunk. So it could be that that they listen to half an hour of the E-Myth, because there's a specific thing that they need this week that if they knew it, they'd do it better. So so it could be, for instance, say for instance on, I'm trying to think of an example I've done. I got a client and they weren't doing digital marketing, and I thought digital marketing would be a good idea to help them generate leads. So I said to them, the task for this week is one of two things. Number 2 is go and Google free digital marketing people and have half an hour call with them, and then tell me what you learned in the next session. Or here's 2 that my clients use. Speak to them and tell them what you're trying to do, and then tell me what you learned. So it's a very specific thing. And what they do is they learn a little bit, and then they realise that learning is a good thing. So you're giving a very small chunk for them to do something, and then they start to get it, and then actually they'll do more. That's what I find. What's the first step you can give them that is small enough that they'll do it, that will give them as big impact as possible for them to get that learning is important? Does that help?
That's absolutely obvious as well, isn't it? Don't try and eat the elephant. Just a couple of elephant steaks to get things started.
You've got to judge the client on how much they can take, and sometimes you've got to start really small.
Yeah.
It's like, have you ever read Atomic Habits, James Clear?
Oh, but a long time ago.
Yeah, so he covers this brilliantly. Talk about floss one tooth.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, brilliant. Cool.
Excellent.
Thank you, Jamie.
And anything else on that point, or has that been covered for you today, Rupert?
No, well, you've got all the turtons. It's only the dog left to go now.
Okay. Questions do I have?
Great to hear from the Turtons, always. Thank you, Rupert.
What's the next question, Rachel?
The next and last of the questions that we've got in the box is from Natalie Jackson, and that is quick wins for retail clients, which I think you're planning on covering, isn't it?
That's on my slides, yeah. So I'll check in with Natalie, and Natalie, if I've not covered specifically what you want on that, then please ask again, because I want to make sure that you get what you need. Okay, so, and feel free just to throw any question in on any topic that you want to do. I'm going to go through the slides now, but Rachel, still, when questions come in, feel free to butt in, and I'll deal with it there and then, just to make sure that people.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me just see. Can everyone see the slides?
Yep, we can see them.
Okay, so let's start then. Okay, so these are the industries I'm going to focus on today, but I'm happy to answer your question even if it's not here, because these are ones that Rachel wanted me to cover. So let's get started then. Okay, so what I'd like people to type in the cash room box is there are certain things, regardless of industries, that you need to almost check first and make sure it's covered first. Just type in the question box what you think they are. So things.
So the coaching fundamentals, what are they?
Yeah.
So first in, we've got cash flow forecast.
Okay. Yeah.
Just
There might. My question to the person is that for every single situation?
Mm-hmm.
That's my question to the person that typed that one in.
Okay, we've got stock.
Okay, stock as it were.
Stock slash WIP. Stock slash work in progress.
Okay.
What else do we got in here? Understand the numbers.
Okay. Yeah. Very good.
Let's get some more questions. Dashboard.
Yeah, absolutely.
Identify the challenges that they're having.
Okay, very, very good. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
The question you asked around cash flow. Yes, cash flow first, then start looking at profit. Alignment and goals.
Yeah, absolutely.
P&L management.
Find out what they actually want.
Alignment. Yeah.
Yeah, make sure aligned. Okay. Just any others? I'll show you what I came up with. But they're just
Okay.
the good, and some people have got what I didn't. But you're right. Okay, so one of the things I find, because if I look at the best results I've got with clients, it's literally make sure they've got a great team and they're managed well. I can summarize, focusing on that. And I spent times with people replacing lots of team members. Before I joined Action Coach, I was in a company, went from a 6 million loss to 1.5 million profit, replaced 200 out of the 300 staff over the 6 years. To give an example, so I always look at the team, and the line process will tell you who's good and who's not good within about 5 weeks, and really clearly without. And then and help people with the recruitment, and help people with the management and the leadership of that team, and you'll find that 90% of problems are probably solved by the team. That's what I found as really, really key. Next thing, 3-year plan. Sometimes you're not going to give them amazing results quickly because there's so much to do, but if they've got a plan that's their plan guided by you, they'll see what's going to happen when. So they're clear that this thing takes 6 months or 9 months because it's their plan. You've just inputted in the things that they don't know. And providing you review that plan every month and see if you're on or off track and the reasons for that, then you find that the client has the belief that working with you is going to get them there in the best time frame possible, which might be longer than they expect. But the 3-year plan I find is a very, very good positioning tool, and it will just, because a lot of clients leave because they feel that the future is going to be better without you than with you, but that 3-year plan will get it more on the side of with you once it's done. Next thing I found is profit per segment. This is profit per job in the case of accounting that Angela was talking about. Profit per particular product in the example that Tim brought on the furniture. Profit per home in say a care home. Profit per shop in retail. So if you get sales costs for each segment, and you can compare each segments as well and learn loads of things. So I find that's really, really important. Line meetings, as I said, you know, it gets your staff quadrupling activity and gets the bad one leaving quicker. So with line meetings, the thing to really make sure is that the employee's doing the talking, not the boss. And the concepts in the 1 minute manager, the 1 minute manager meets the monkey, and the 5 dysfunctions of a team, make sure that all of those 3 concepts and all of those 3 books internalized by the owner of their teams. If you do that, the team side of things, I find, very quickly gets significantly improved. 90-day plans that link to the 3-year plan, and get the team to do it, not the owner. Get department heads to do 90-day plans. Owner first, but the best thing in the world is that you know, the head of marketing does an RT plan, presents it to the owner. The owner, you know, adds his critique and its tweak, because it's then the employee's plan, and the employee is more likely to do their plan than the boss's plan. It's like we get taught that don't do the plan for the client, they do it, but it even filters down. Let the team members do it, the boss, and especially if you want a business that works without you, if you get the team doing all the thinking and doing all the doing, then you know, you almost make the owner redundant. I've had clients come up to me that were doing 12-hour days after about 9 months saying, "What do I do today, Jamie?" Because their team was doing all the work better than them. And this, everything listed here is exactly what we did. Again, KPI dashboard to track what's good, not good, very objectively, taking all the emotion out of everything. And monthly profit and loss, just making sure, you know, where things are being spent, what the money is, and cash flow where required. So if someone's got millions and millions in the bank or lots in the bank, then cash flow might not be as important, because there might be other areas that need more importance. It's good to keep an eye on it just to make sure it is good. But monthly profit and loss, and as I said before, if they don't have it, make sure they're at least getting on some sort of accounting software like Xero or QuickBooks, and get read-only access of it, and you look in yourself and put it on the screen if they struggle with doing that. I found that really helps. And then you talk to them about it. Say, you know, you've got sales of this month, it's higher or lower this month. Why is that? And you get a conversation, and they get buy-in of looking at monthly profit and loss and cash flow, why it's important. And then they start making better decisions when you bring that. So I find, yeah, getting the read-only access as soon as possible to accounting software for people where they're not great at this really helps. Okay, so any other questions come through, Rachel?
Yes, I'm going to unmute Javier. Just check on him
Okay.
and see whether this, where is he? Javier, I'm just coming to unmute you. Can you unmute yourself? Morning.
Buenos días, Rachel. And
Buenos
everybody.
días.
Buenos dias.
Buenos días, no será días.
Buenos dias.
Yes.
So I've got a number of business owners who ask me how to coordinate their 90-day plan with the heads of department 90-day plan. For instance, it could be a financial goal
Yes.
that the business owner will achieve for the 90-day, and this is, well, should my financial director have the same goal? And the same happens. So he may have 3 goals, which may match 1 goal per head of department. So the business owner is, well, am I then going to do anything, or I just let my heads of, do I have any goals, or is just orchestrating the goals of the heads of department, if that makes sense?
Okay, so the business owner will have his own 90-day plan with his own goals. He'll ask each department to present their own ones, but then he'll have a meeting on it. So the first thing is anything missed out that's more important than what they've got there? Is there any goal there that is not that important or not clear? So you get them to do the first draft, and then you just, in the meeting, you then tweak it together. So it's effectively goals from the department head signed off by the owner.
Yes. So the thing is how to align them, because the goals have to be aligned, you know, like the measure what matters, the OKRs, the cascading.
Yes.
When you get the cascading of goals. So if they have to be aligned, then I get these asks. I find myself difficult. I struggle with it coaching the client, how to explain it. And when the goals are aligned, cascading, then the business owner says, well,
Can you give me an
I don't know
example of a misaligned goal specifically to this client?
I can't remember right now. Yeah, this is over the past few years, so it's nothing.
I think, can we make one up just so it's easy, so I can help you more? So it could be, would it be that the owner wants sales of 3 million and the sales director's coming up with 2? Would that be a misaligned goal?
Well, say the business owner wants to achieve 3 million.
Yes.
And then the sales director wants to achieve 3 million because it's going to be aligned, right? And then whose goal is it? Obviously, it's the sales director. So the business owner says, okay, so this goal is going to be delivered by my sales director. So I need another goal, and so on and so forth.
No, so, sorry, you're saying, okay, you're saying that the owner and the sales director can't have the same goal. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. So let me offer a different view on that. If the sales director's got a 3 million goal, yeah, the owner has as well, because the owner's job is to lead the sales director to get that goal.
Mm-hmm.
So effectively, the owner's goals are they're basically delegated to the entire team. And maybe there's 1 or 2 they have remaining because it's not quite working without them yet. So it's okay that, for instance, if the owner's got a 4 million sales goal, then have the sales director have a 6 million one. So they're going something bigger to have a greater chance of getting it. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah. So basically, the business owner is orchestrating as opposed to having his own goals. Yeah,
because his job is to empower the team to deliver the goals that he wants and to lead them. So absolutely, he can sit there with all the goals that are on his list are actually covered by his team, because his job is lead the team to get those goals.
Mm.
Does that help?
Yeah, it does. Thank you, Jamie.
Okay. Any other questions or points you want to raise?
I'm good.
Excellent. Well,
Good. Thank you.
Coming on. Any next question, please, Rachel?
That's all the questions at the moment.
Okay, let's keep going then. These are the coaching fundamentals that I have, that I look for in every business, regardless of who they are. So regular sales activity and pipeline review for sales. Just looking at the activity would be, how many calls are they making? How many LinkedIn connection requests are they doing? When they're sending an email, how many on the database? How many click? How many open? And the pipeline is the people that they've spoken to that are interested, and it's just a question of when, and they're going through some issues, making sure that there's a weekly review of that to make sure that it's actually moving forward. And if people are dropping out, it's dropping out because of bad fit, not bad communication by the salesperson. And then marketing leads per strategy reporting. That just really helps to see which marketing strategies are working, which aren't. And if the ones that aren't, there's a conversation of, do we tweak it or bin it? And making people accountable for either tweaking it or binning it based on what the KPIs are showing on marketing leads per strategy. So is LinkedIn working? Is email marketing working? Is telemarketing working? Just have a document that's actually showing that factually. Okay, so we're going to move on to the industry specific areas that I had listed. Is there any just butt in with questions, Rachel, if there is any?
I will do.
No. And so the first thing is retail. Now, I helped a business go from 11 to 34 million in 3 years. You might have seen the video. It was on one of the video cards. And a lot of what I covered before, actually, in the cunning fundamentals is how I did that. So a lot of it was looking at profit per shop and getting the managers in a room where some people was doing better than worse on turnover, and they'd come up and explain why. Some people were doing better than others and other KPIs, and they just got up and explain why. The person who was not the top performers out of the group would write down exactly how the other person was doing it and be accountable to implement it in their shop, and then update everyone in the next meeting exactly what they did. And that just got everyone from 11 to 33 million in 3 years. Most of it was actually that, but making sure that meeting happened every fortnight for 3 years. That's kind of most of what that did. So the coaching wasn't that hard. It's really enjoyable, and the team were empowered to find the issues and fix them. That was the key thing. So looking at the specifics on retail, the kind of KPIs we looked at. So the first thing is the loyalty card. try and get a loyalty card, and then you've got really good data on all of your customers, what they're buying, etc., etc. It helps you do campaigns to people that haven't shopped for 6 months, give them an offer so they come back in. So it's really, really powerful. The data you get from loyalty cards is massive. It helps you make really good decisions. Next thing is having high profit items near the till. People impulse buy at the till, especially with things like chocolate, etc. That and it just really, really helps. And that, you know, a lot of national chains do this as well. So again, just see if they're doing this. Next thing, email marketing with offers. I said about the loyalty cards, and really target them. For instance, if someone was buying a certain type of chocolate every week and then stopped, give them an offer for that chocolate, because you know they buy it and they're not coming for a reason, and it just helps get them in the store. Seen a lot of success with this waste percentage reporting. So if the waste is like 8%, challenge people, how do we get it to 4%? Get their ideas how to get it to 4%. What does it we need to do? And then get them to get and commit to certain actions on doing that, and then again follow up in the line meeting or the team meeting, or both, even better, to see have they done that to improve waste. You know, one of the things that people do is to regularly check items with the date on to see is it getting close to an expiry date, and if so, it's reduced and put in the front of the shop so people can see it. So just having strategies on minimising waste. Again, we're constantly negotiating with suppliers. As you're growing, you should get better prices per unit. Also, if you pay quicker, again, you can get discounts. So look, those are the two areas I found. And as you get bigger, there's always opportunities to do that. And you might even need to change suppliers as well if your current suppliers aren't agreed to that. And again, slow moving stock. Really literally looking at every month. What's not moving? Why is it not moving? Understand why, and have a strategy to test, which could be price reduction. It could be it's an offer in your email marketing. There's just really understand why certain things are slow. It could be you've bought something that doesn't sell. Again, and then it's having a conversation with the person that does the purchasing and understand why they picked that thing in the first place. And sometimes it's a test. You know, it's not about beat up for getting it wrong. It's just understanding why they pick that particular thing, and is there any learning they'll take. Any questions on these retail strategies, or anything missing here that someone's got wants some information on retail and I've not quite told them what they wanted?
Let's just check in with Natalie, see that she's got something. I'm going to come and unmute you, Natalie. Just unmute yourself. Hi, Natalie.
Hello.
Hi, Natalie.
Hello.
Hi. Good morning.
What do you
no,
think?
that's brilliant. Sorry, what was that, Rachel? You cut out then.
Just I wondered what you were thinking about on this list, and if you were coaching a retail client right now.
I am actually, and I have reached out to Jamie before, and he did give me some fantastic pointers. So I was just digging deeper with this, and there's a few things on there I've made note of that I can put into action straight away this week. So thank you, Jamie. Brilliant.
Pleasure. You happy to share?
Brilliant.
Pleasure, Natalie. Happy to share what they are, just for everyone else's benefit.
So there's a couple of things on there. The loyalty card is something we've talked about.
Yeah.
But it's not something that came to the top of the list. And I think we've worked on sort of quite a lot of things. We've touched on the waste, but actually that's kind of been put to one side. So I'm going to bring that up now as a more important, you know, we've got this bucket with loads of holes in it. What you said previously about the general chat about the staffing and what are the staff's goals and the lion meetings and all of that stuff. Some of that stuff we haven't got in place, so that's going to be really useful in terms of the staff. But yeah, the waste and the loyalty card are going to be really good things to be working on this week.
Thanks for sharing, Natalie. Thank you.
Thank you, Natalie. Just got a couple of comments from Julian in here. He measures footfall versus number of sales.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, footfall, absolutely, Julian. That's really brilliant. Yeah, track footfall in your KPIs. Absolutely. Any other comments, Rachel?
No other comments have come in as yet.
Going to move to hairdressing now. So my mum had some hairdressing salons. My grandmother was a hairdressing salon, and my my wife's dad and my wife's granddad were also hairdressers, so it's something that I had great pleasure when I worked with a hairdressing business to help them, because it meant a lot to me, just not helping a business owner, but also it reminded me of things that my parents should have done if they would have known. So let's go through it then. Yeah, rebooking, this is really huge. Are clients rebooking? You need stats on what's the rebooking rate. That's normally a number of weeks. What's the average number of weeks that people rebook? And is that going up or down? So yeah, looking at that. Also calling people that haven't rebooked to find out what's happened. Just obviously in a non-salesy way, just conversational. What's really good in hairdressing is really understanding the customer and getting a good relationship, so that if you do make a call, it's a call that's taken and responded well. Simple things like at the end when you're taking the money, book them in. Just say, so you probably need your cut in 6 weeks. How does the 12th of March sound? Just getting the team to do that every time. And if people are resisting, just understand what it is. You know, it could be a reasonable reason, as in they're on holiday or ill, etc. But yeah, just know if anyone's not rebooking and it doesn't really make sense, because that could be a signal about the service. And especially if it's happening with one particular hairdresser as well, you want to dig a lot deeper on that, because it could be the service isn't very good, or the experience. So the experience of things like the conversation, you know, how they feel. You know, hairdressing is making someone feel good. You're selling making someone feel good. That's what you're making. Not only the hair, you know, the way you serve the coffee, the quality of the coffee, are there snacks? Some people have got magazines. Often it's to do with the conversation with the hairdressers that is one of the differentiators. This client I work with, there's 6 hair salons in the high street. She's the one that's lasted the longest, and she's by far the most expensive. And it's all on service and how people feel. So product sales, again, suggest things to how that person can not only feel beautiful at the end of the haircut, but feel beautiful between haircuts. What products can you sell them that make them feel good all the time? And in the line meetings with the staff, you'll look at their product sales, and you can even look at the appointments they've done, and was there particular products that weren't offered that would have made someone feel good in between appointments. And again, make staff accountable for selling those. And what you'll dig up is often they don't suggest it because they're scared of selling. So you need to help them with exactly what to say to help them sell, so they're not feeling they're pushing on something onto someone. They're actually helping them feel better between appointments. So that's a mindset shift you might need to give some staffs on the reason they're not selling their products. And yeah, not customer specific. So know the birthdays, know the names of the kids, know which university course they've been on. That really helps. And know what type of coffee they have. Service upsells, not only products, there's service upsells. There'll be like an additional service, like there's when they wash your hair, they can put a mask on it, etc. They'll make it feel better. So again, make sure the staff know what to offer and how to offer it. Appointment reminders, again, they book it. People need reminders, so a text the day before, an email the day before can really help. Any questions on hairdressing?
Not specifically on hairdressing, but the question came in: how often do people need to be purchasing for loyalties cards to be worthwhile?
How often do people need to be purchasing for? I think loyalty cards, if you're talking on retail specifically, I think every retailer should have one, because it will help you understand your customer better. You know, who's coming, how often, what do they buy, what are the repeat purchases. So yeah, any retailer should have a loyalty card. That's my view.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions?
No, Julian's agreeing with you. It's all about the experience.
Yeah. Okay. Manufacturing. Again, you've got to constantly review the processes. Measure how long every product takes each person. If someone's doing better than the others, go deeper. Is it to do efficiencies or cutting corners? Then take the learning from the person that's doing the better, shares with the person that's doing worse in something. And and make sure that, again, you see the improvement of the person that was doing worse. Did they internalize the learning or not? Did they make that change or not? Again, use the line process to do that. Next thing, profit per job, as we talked about as well. You know, if a particular table takes a certain time and at a certain cost, are we making money on that or not? Are we making the money we expected? And if not, why was it? Is it we had to discount, and was that appropriate? Were we using materials efficiently? Was the process we're using efficiently? Supply negotiation, as with retail. So in terms of industry events will help you learn about better processes. Like, for instance, in manufacturing, something called Lean Six Sigma, which is a really efficient way of how you do manufacturing and processes. Looking at technology, just finding best practice, and in some cases you can pick up some customers as well, and also to get clients as well. If it's B2B, LinkedIn I found worked really well for manufacturing, getting clients. Any other question on manufacturing or anything else really that I've not covered that you want?
Yeah, we've got a question here from Nick Gray. I'm just coming to unmute you, Nick, so you can speak to Jamie. Just unmute yourself. Marvellous. Morning, Nick.
Morning, Rachel. Just on, you mentioned a few times on getting employees measured against each other, which I think is a great idea. Any learning that or books that you've recommended for business owners to read to give them a better understanding of getting over that fear of doing it? Because in some cases it can seem like too difficult to measure. And so is there anything you could point them in the right direction to get them some learning around that? I
think there's the 1 Minute Manager, there's the 1 Minute Manager Meeting the Monkey, and the 5 Dysfunctions of the Team cover all of that. Not only the measuring, but mainly the way you do the communication and all the fears that people have, the fear of making someone look silly, etc. So I found that those books do that. Have you got an example of an industry of a client that you're thinking of, Nick?
Yeah, I'm thinking of electricians where they're on site and yeah, getting them to measure against each other. Okay, so all I'd say is if they're on site doing a job that's a job that is quite a common job, you record that that generally we found that this job takes this time, it uses this much of materials. And then the line meeting, you look at how long it actually took that person and you have a conversation. It's not a beat up conversation. Just say, John, you took 7 hours on this job. We found that most people take 5. Tell me exactly what you did. And then you ask the question, say, that took 2 hours. If it was going to take 1 hour, what would you do differently? So great. Thanks, Jamie. Yeah, really good. Yeah, it does. Excellent. Thanks, Jamie. Pleasure. Okay. Any other questions on that or anything else I've mentioned, or something just a thought that's come in someone's head that they want to ask?
Nope, that's all good. Thank you.
Excellent. So we're going to go now to B2B services. So again, so let's give an example of I've got a client that helps Amazon sellers sell more. So effectively, their clients will have a target of the profit target of what they want to get to, or a spend target with Amazon, and they'll then review actually what happened versus the target and understand the differences. And the differences could be that the target was too high, there was something not taken into account, like the seasonality of the business. It could be a new product, in which case there was no history there and it was a total guess and it just wasn't right. Or it could be some inefficiency in the way the advertising was done. Or it could be the messaging on the advert. It could be the imaging is not as clear as it could be. Or it could be a new competitor has come on board that was unexpected and meant that the targets were lower for that reason. Big thing with B2B services, that's what we do. And when someone leaves, you really need to understand the absolute truth why. Some people won't tell you the truth because fear of hurting you. So having, how good is the exit review process? Is there a conversation with the outgoing client, with someone that might be independent, that can tell the absolute truth of what was good and what was bad? And then are they then taking learnings on board and putting the actions in their next 90-day plan to make sure that the business improves? In terms of getting clients, LinkedIn could be really good for B2B, find telemarketing good as well, and email marketing as well. And also on the selling side, especially if you're doing consultative sales or selling services that are difficult to explain, really listening to calls and just seeing if people are really understanding and being strong with their empathy with the clients and really bringing out the pain points, and recycle the call analysis and the listening back into the training, and include in the line meeting under next week that people are going to review calls and write down their observations, and then also their actions on what they're going to do differently next week from their observations to improve their calls. And also industry events can be really good in some sectors to pick up clients and also learn about the best practices. If you look at what we do, our conferences I see as industry events, BizX, is where we're all sharing best practice and making sure that we're on top of our game. Any other questions on B2B services?
Nothing that's come in.
Okay, so e-commerce. I've worked with several e-commerce businesses, ranging from like 1 million to I'm now working with someone who's 60 million. This is what I found really works for e-commerce. So you've got to be literally anal on KPIs, hundreds and hundreds of them, because there's so much detail everywhere, and each section is split between each department. So definitely cost per acquisition. So how long does it cost you? How much it cost you to acquire a customer, and how long does it take to get your money back? Sometimes you can acquire a customer a mini loss if it's a repeat business type of product. Find that Google and Meta ads work really well in e-commerce, and all the testing and the data you get from that as well, really good. Amazon's really good to get started, but you do need higher margins because Amazon fees are higher and getting higher. But I'd always strongly recommend that anyone on Amazon also has a Shopify website as well, and is looking to try and grow the Shopify website and just using Amazon just to get some traction and some early profits, and also to test the popularity of the product. Subscription models are working really, really well. So, try and get a product where someone can, at slightly cheaper rate, can sign up for having it delivered every week, every month, every quarter. And then that really helps because, the client doesn't have to think about it and things are just arriving. I've got some clients that have done really well. Once they've introduced subscription models, they've almost like tripled their business. Slow moving stock is same with retail. You can get your cash can be completely drained. If you're looking at stocks that aren't moving, it can cost you a lot of money, not only in warehouse costs, etc., but also it's keeping the place of something that could be selling more. So yeah, even if you have to go to cost sometimes, just get rid of slow moving stock. And if you're using Amazon, then Amazon will charge you a lot of money for keeping stock as well. So you have to be all over reporting on slow moving stock. And again, go to industry events in your industry. Make sure you're on top of the latest technology, the latest processes in everything. Anything on e-commerce?
Nothing's come in. Let's keep going and see at the end if anything comes up.
Oh yeah. So care homes. One of the most important things, providing that you get a proportion of your clients from local authorities and not just private, the relationship is absolutely crucial. You need to have a relationship where it's to a level that if things are going wrong, you can pick up the phone, someone will take your call and work with you. It takes a lot of time, lots of C&Es. You've got to be careful with them that it's not seen as bribery, but just find out what you can do. And it can even be, wishing someone happy birthday or asking, similar to what I talked about hairdressing and the client, that you ring someone up off and you talk about how the graduation went with their child, etc. So even things like that, where people feel that, you're going a bit more over and above to really get to know them. So local authority relationship is really key to help with problems and also help you get referrals over and above your competition as well. The follow-up, once you get a referral, making sure that the people in the care homes are following it up, making sure there's a fit between the needs of that particular service user and what you do, and making sure that's really efficient, because some people not following up means they lose out and it goes to a competitor. Profit per home reporting, again, looking at the cost of the staffing and the staff to service user ratio, the damage in the home, the maintenance cost of the home as well, just looking at things like that, and really having like the managers in each home sit down and compare the results of each other's to see where they can win and make them accountable for making that change. Again, I've mentioned the maintenance cost review is really important. Is there a lot of repairs happening, and why are they happening, and what can we do about it? And yeah, hiring the best staff. So look at the pay rates, look at the culture, how well do you treat staff, do some employee surveys to see if people doing it, and also try and have like a career plan for everyone. If someone's like a care worker and they want to be like a senior manager in 3 years, just show them that you're going to work with them, and maybe set them some goals themselves on the development courses they go on, things they're learning, just to help show that you are helping them progress up the chain. It's just not just treating them as a low ranking worker. So any questions on anything?
Let's go for questions. Any questions on anything that Jamie has covered?
Questions on top
and learning. Let's go for that. Learnings and questions. It has been a bit of a whistle-stop tour of all these industries. So I recognise there's a lot of information to take in. I will put the recording up afterwards so that you can revisit it at any time.
Top learnings and questions.
Let's go for that. Yes, Natalie's put reading in small chunks, really brilliant. Learning, wouldn't it be great if we had a section on the dashboard for tips on coaching different kinds of businesses? Absolutely, Rob Pickering, it would. E-commerce KPIs are great, and yes, subscription model is a great revenue multiplier. Getting heads of departments to do their own 90-day plans, love that. Profits in the detail, absolutely. Get clients learning much more, even if starting very small. The line reviews are a common theme. Yeah, absolutely. Can you recommend any software or implementation or automation tools for loyalty cards, Jamie? Have you come across any?
You need to get a provider that does loyalty cards. So just Google. I'm just trying to think of the name of the person that this retailer I spoke to used. But yeah, if you just Google loyalty cards, you should get one or two suppliers, and just make your client accountable, speaking to 3 and just sharing with you what they learned from each one and which one they want to try.
Sanjeev, Lion team and one-to-one shifts onus and accountability to an employee. Owner's job is to lead, enable and empower. Absolutely, fantastic learnings there. Line meetings, one-to-one. Team doing 90-day plans. Loyalty cards is a golden nugget. A lot of retailers need to adapt ASAP. Very good. Great. Some great learnings there. Thank you so much, Jamie, for your abundance in sharing all this information. And as I say, it will be there for everybody to re-listen to.
So re-listen to it at your own pace, and feel free to reach out if there's anything specific that you want further information on.
Next week we have got Jenny Morgan, and she's going to be talking about the emotional journey of creating anything great.
Lovely.
So, we've got a loyalty card recommendation, and that's www.comarch.com.
Thank you.
There we go. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful week. See you next Monday.
Take care. Lovely.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.